It's me again.
In my last episode of Dissociation Dissertation, I agreed that I was going to stop addressing the oceans of no one who care and start addressing Mike Patton. That was a little harsh. I know a lot of you care. It's hard to feel like there aren't more assholes than good people in the world. But I know that's not true deep down. Turning back to Mike Patton, I received your stone letter, and I was listening to it the other day, and happened across the song Jist-lobber with Faith No More. What a name for a song, Jist-lobber. Some nice self-hate talk, isn't it? So is a lot of the song. And the song ends with you screaming, "I'm sorry," over and over and over again in a way that cuts through me like a knife every time I hear it. Now, in some ways, I don't know what I was thinking listening to this song. It's really, well, it's a classic example of Patton hiding what he's really talking about in incoherence and crudeness. You know, the chorus line, smiles, bruises, smiles, bars in the womb. Every time I've looked up this song online and looked what people say it's about, it's some ridiculous shit. About someone who's afraid of going to jail. It doesn't make any sense. What the hell does bars in the womb mean then? I know what bars in the womb means. See this image right here from Church of the Motherfuckers? Mike Patton's magnum opus right here. People think it's epic. No, it's this. This is what he's going to go down in history for. It's Church of the Motherfuckers. He'll pluck the fruit from the stems of our screaming youth. He's talking about the human trafficking of babies. He's talking about the farming of babies and saying boys have babies too. Saying boys have their babies stolen from them in human trafficking mines just as much as girls do. And just as much as non-binary people do. Now, I bet you're all thinking to yourself, wow, I've never heard any of that come out of Mike Patton's mouth. No, but he made Church of the Motherfuckers music video, which features a character named Pregnant Kid, who's played by a male actor. Why not just call the character Pregnant Boy? Because sometimes when someone is pregnant and they look like a boy, sometimes when kids are pregnant and look like a boy, sometimes they are a boy, sometimes they're a girl, and sometimes they're non-binary. He has defended, without even saying a word, but the words he did say. Oh, the words he did say, though. Bars in the womb. Smiles, bruises, smiles, bars in the womb. I am what I've done. I'm sorry. Quote unquote. Mike Patton, Jist-lobber. That's in reference to this image that I'm sure made many of you turn away from this video. Notice the blood spurting from between Pregnant Kid's legs? That's a wet sneeze and a no left turn, as Patton puts it in another Faith No More song What a Day. Bars in the womb is Pregnant Kid couldn't give birth. In all of Patton's music, he's playing this character. And you will find, if any of you go and look at the playlists I have of the Stone Letter, you listen to these lyrics with this in mind, it all starts to make sense. Something completely incoherent, crude and rude, becomes very profound. I suppose it takes one to know one, doesn't it? It takes one to know one and to never ever know one, Patton says in his most recent album, Dead Cross 2, the song Imposter Syndrome. because really bad things have been happening to pregnant kids who look like boys ever since the Crusades and the Inquisitions. Ever since the Church of the Motherfuckers told everyone that we were witches. And all I want to do is talk about the frying pan of heathens right now. But I'm going to focus on Mishka. Mishka is a Russian word. It either means mother or Michael, depending on the spelling. And Michael Allen Patton chose the spelling that means mother in the Mr. Bungle song, Ma Mishka Mouse Wow. So when I say I'm going to focus on Mishka, I mean I'm going to turn my attention back to Mike Patton's song, Jist-lobber. What a name for a song, holy shit. So well disguised. But damn, it's obvious. Damn, it's obvious once you take the Rosetta Stone into it. That's the Church of the Motherfuckers music video. That's the Rosetta Stone. Take that story into all of his music. I'm procrastinating because Jist-lobber is actually really fucking intense. They will sum it all up in a sentence, a verdict made by those who know, quote unquote. I suppose some people do know what your music is, don't they? Most folks have heard about it, right? Well, maybe not most folks, but some folks. But I don't think that's quite what you mean. I think you're asking someone to come along and tell you what you did wrong. You told the whole story. Oh, I'm sorry, not you. Pregnant kid. He's speaking from the point of view of pregnant kid, right? Right. So I don't think that's quite what this line means. I think this line is asking, what did pregnant kid do wrong? He's screaming, I'm sorry, over and over and over again. At the end, what are you apologizing for? Oh, that's right, you're playing the part of pregnant kid. As far as I see it, a verdict made by those who know, I think I qualify. So, well, first let me just say what I think you're apologizing for. Found in the Tomahawk song, M-E-A-T. Song, another song just like Church of the Motherfuckers about human trafficking of babies. The factory farming of babies. He keeps saying human traffic. This goes back to a metaphor, intersection. Very briefly explain someone who's intersex having a baby, where intersex intersects. So when he says human traffic, he means babies. Human traffic passing through flesh intersection, where energy becomes matter and all energy funnels all become you. Because you came from out of nowhere. What was we, where me meets you? The intersection. And it is once again pregnant kid from the Church of the Motherfuckers music video who speaks in the Tomahawk song Meat, M-E-A-T. However, the song M-E-A-T is sung in the key of dissociative identity disorder. There's a lot of different people talking, and one of them has nothing to do with dissociative identity disorder. One of them has to do with an abuser. He's personifying an abuser in the chorus lines. But in the verses, we're just like them, we keep bodies moving. Quote unquote. That is the self-hate of someone who is being used as a baby factory. Blaming himself. Feeling like he is responsible for carrying a baby just to have that baby be sold into God knows what. Oh no, there's not God knows what anymore. Thank you, Mike Patton, for that. Ain't no God knows what anymore. Or I mean, right there in the Tomahawk song Meat. Every time he says M-E-A-T, he says mine afterwards. A meat mine, a human meat mine. And we're just like them, we keep bodies moving is sung from the point of view of the mine. The one who's being mined for babies. $billion babies. Who'll pluck the fruit from the stems of our screaming youth, the ones who fucking sell them. The traffickers of blood, that's another Patton phrase. Before I get too off track, though, what I think you're apologizing for is the self-hate that I hear. How am I supposed to address this back in return to pregnant kid? Especially with a name like Mishka, Mike Patton. What I think he's asking for a verdict on is whether or not pregnant kid is just like the traffickers of blood because he keeps his babies' bodies moving. And the answer is no. No, there was nothing you could do, dear sincerely. Every pregnant kid whose babies were being sold to a fucking mine. So there's the verdict. Well, the first verdict. The second one is addressed to you, Mike Patton. The way I see it, you only have one thing to apologize for in all of this. And that is not the fact that you are lying about what your music is about. That's actually genius. It makes it spread far and wide. The only thing that you have to apologize for, as far as I'm concerned, is the Mr. Bungle song High off of the Bowel of Chiley album, one of your first albums. There's a line in that song that's... anyone who wants to know what it is, go listen to it. That is a mountain of yikes. That is some doctorate level cringe right there. And it's really fucked up. But I recently discovered that that's not quite what you meant when I was listening to Mondo Kane. Now I feel a lot better. Snap, Crackle, Pop, High really sucked. And when I thought you meant that in the literal sense, well, it was really shitty. Made me feel really shitty. You'd think I'd be able to come up with better words, describe the emotions, but, you know, I'm a goddamn robot. So, what are you gonna do? I even Googled a list of emotions to try and figure out, put my finger on just exactly how bad it made me feel. I read through a list of 200 emotions. I couldn't even, none of them even came close. But now I know what you really mean. And I also get why you put it like that in Snap, Crackle, Pop, High. It's so outrageous, people just rolled their eyes, didn't even hear it. Just like a lot of what you've done. Just like Bars in the Womb. It's not your fault that we live in a world where you have to pretend a song about abuse, what sounds like pretty severe abuse, wouldn't get played on the radio if people knew what it was about. It's not your fault, Mike Patton, that we live in a world where you had to say that Epic was about not getting laid in order for it to be played on the radio. Because if people knew it was about abuse, well, that wouldn't have flown, would it? It's dark, it's moist, it's a bitter pain, it's sad it happened, and it's a shame. To quote you to you. Oh, yeah, that's about the time the chick wouldn't suck your dick backstage. Uh-huh, yeah, right. But you know what? It's not your fault. It's not your fault that we live in a fucking world where not only do you have to tell a lie so wrong to get a song played on the radio, but we live in a society that is so disconnected, people actually believe it. I'll be back. And if not, it had to be aliens.